This is something you don't see every day. I get so many people come up to me and say, "What kind of Gibson is that?" And I say, "It's a Fender." And they say, "No, it's not." "Oh, it is a Fender. Holy cow, what is that?" So this is an oddball, unusual Fender. It has a really long model name. This is a 1988 Fender Masterbuilt Series Esprit Ultra ESRF Robben Ford signature model. Say that 10 times real fast. So anyway, let's talk about the history of this guitar and what the heck it's doing in Fender's lineup, or was doing in Fender's lineup at the time. So in the 70s, in the late 70s in particular, we all know that Fender was having all kinds of problems. And Gibson as well. The quality was not doing very well. They were hemorrhaging cash. And CBS wanted to dump Fender, so they finally did in 1984. And when the new management took over of Fender, because CBS sold Fender out to a management group, and when the management took over, they were on a mission to drastically improve quality. So they bought all of Fender from CBS except for the actual manufacturing plant. So they for some reason CBS wouldn't sell them the plant, so they had to open up a new plant. So while they were opening the new plant, all the Fender guitar production was moved over to the Fujigen plant in Japan. And kind of going along at the same time, while all that was happening, Fender hired a bunch of the management team away from the Yamaha USA company because they wanted to totally revamp how they were building, and they wanted to make sure they had good, solid, consistent quality. So they copied a lot of what Fujigen was doing in Japan, because Fujigen was making some of the best guitars in the world at the time. And at the same time, from a marketing perspective, Fender recognized that Gibson was struggling and having problems, and they thought they could capitalize on some of that and compete with the Les Paul and the ES335. So they tasked one of their new former Yamaha guys, a guy by the name of Dan Smith, and they said, "Dan, come up with some designs that can not copy, because we know that if we copy we'll get sued, but if we just compete with the Gibson line a little bit." So Dan Smith came up with a couple of designs, and they were called the Flame and the Esprit. Now the Flame, they had identical body shapes, this Esprit and then the Flame. The Flame was just a little bit smaller, a little bit closer to the Les Paul size. This guitar is a little bit bigger, not quite as big as an ES335, but certainly bigger than a Les Paul. So the Flame and the Esprit went into production. They managed to snag Robben Ford as an endorser of the Esprit model, and they didn't sell very well. So they started making these back in 84, I think it was, and by 87 they discontinued the Flame altogether, and the Esprit was just they dumped the lower levels, because both the Flame and the Esprit, I should back up, if the Flame and the Esprit came in three different flavors. They came in Standard, Elite, and Ultra. So the Standard was fairly plain and unadorned. The Elite had more features and was a little bit fancier, and then the Ultra was like a Les Paul custom, basically. So it's got 5-ply binding, bound neck, ebony fretboard, ebony buttons, bound and fancy headstock with lots of mother of pearl. So very pretty, gold hardware, all that good stuff. So they dumped the Flame altogether in 1987, and they kind of retooled the Esprit to capitalize on Robben Ford was starting to become pretty popular at that time. And they just basically relabeled it the Esprit Ultra as the ESRF, as the Robben Ford signature model. So that's what this one is. This is the 1988 version. But when Robben Ford officially put his name on it as a signature model, he spec'd a couple of changes to it. So they originally had a chambered mahogany body, so it's kind of a semi-hollow body with a maple top on it. So Robben Ford said, "I want an alder body," so they changed the body from mahogany to alder, and then they changed the top to spruce, of all things. Now, you don't see that on electric guitars. Normally it's either maple or or koa or some other kind of hard wood. Spruce is a very soft wood in comparison, but it's very resonant. That's why it's used on acoustic guitars a lot. So very unusual. It's a very resonant body on this guitar. It's very lightweight and it sings very nicely and sustains very nicely. So Robben Ford also spec'd a couple of other things. They had Schaller pickups on it, and he put a TP6 bridge for fine adjustments on it. He also spec'd the Fender's TBX tone system, which gives you a little bit better tone shaping, and also put in a pickups coil tap, basically, or coil split switch on it. So I can go from single coil to humbucker and all that good fancy stuff. I bought this guitar in November of 2021. I had been really jonesing for a Les Paul for a long time. I've owned some really nice guitars. I've got PRSs. I've got some very nice stuff, but I never had a Les Paul. So, but I've also always been curious about these, and obviously I know that they were really high quality guitars, but you don't see them. They're very rare. So anyway, I saw one pop up on Reverb, and I jumped on it. Instead of a Les Paul, I bought this guitar, and I'm so glad I did. It is just such an amazingly well built guitar, and it just plays spectacularly, sounds beautiful, has a really good variety of tones, very versatile, and it just is a wonderful guitar. So this one, the previous owner had replaced the original Schaller pickups, which I got with it, so I still have the originals. But this one has a Duncan JB in the bridge and a custom Suhr, S-U-H-R, if you don't know who they are. They make very high-end stuff. It's got a custom Suhr Alnico 5 humbucker in the neck position. So it just has really good sounds to it. I can show you a little bit, and some of the versatility of this guitar is just fantastic. So playing just clean. This is the neck pickup in the single coil mode. Now you'll never mistake this for a Strat, but you can get some really decent single coil tones. Now let's put it into humbucker mode on the same neck pickup. Which you really notice down in the lower strings, right? Sorry about that. And if we go to the both pickups in the single coil mode, then we go to the neck pickup, or I'm sorry, bridge pickup. I'm upside down. It can really almost border on a telly kind of sound, especially if you overdrive it a little bit. But so we put that into humbucker mode. It's got a really nice, clean sound. It's not quite as, I don't know, I can't think of the adjective I want to use, but it's not quite as gnarly as a Gibson. Especially if you overdrive it. I just think it has a great bridge pickup humbucker sound. likewise with the humbucker and the little overdriven, you can get that. A really nice little kind of a woman tone to it. So anyway, that's what I got. I think it's. I just think this is a fantastic guitar. It's one of my favorite guitars to play. And I mean, the previous owner obviously loved it too because it's been well loved. It's got some nicks and scratches and chunks out of it, but I don't care. I just think it sounds and plays fantastically. I just love this guitar. It's a very nice one. So thanks for watching. I hope I helped, and I hope it was a little educational. And if you have any questions, you can always comment. Thanks.